Hello everyone, John here with Ready Player Movies and welcome back to a brand new video. Now obviously as you could tell by the thumbnail, I'm ready. I'm ready to do my collection I'm ready to do my full collection video. Um, Now obviously this isn't going to be done all in one session. That would be asking a little too much given the fact that I do have quite a few to actually go through to show you guys. So what I'm going to do, the format that I'm going to format, the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to go through everything numerical and through to the and then through the A to Z's, and then I'm going to move on to onto my box sets and everything else. I'm also going to include my DVDs and also anything else that I have, maybe whether it's TV, movie, or um, anything else kind of related to that. Anyway, guys, likewise, let's get on with this, shall we? Okay guys, so like I said, we're going to start with our numericals. Now I don't really have an awful lot numerical wise, so I'm going to be going into my ears as well in this video. So let's just get started, shall we? So first up we have, I'll just put this in my lap to make this a little bit easier. So we have, first off, 21 Jump Street with Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill. Very funny film. Do enjoy watching this. I actually watched this the first time through lockdown with a group of my friends. So I really enjoyed it, and I'm pleased that I do actually have it in a collection. Next up we have 2001 A Space Odyssey from Stanley Kubrick. Another film that I really enjoy. It's not something that I can watch multiple times though. I need to have a select. I need to be. You need to be in the right. For me, I need to be in the right frame of mind to watch this because it's a very strange. I wouldn't say it's strange, but it's for its time. It's a kind of a product of its time. To be honest with you, it is a classic, but for me, it's not one of the film. It's not a film that I can go back to multiple times a year, basically. Next we have 40-Year-Old Virgin with Steve Carell, is it? Yeah, Steve Carell. Not seen this for a while. Do enjoy it. Very funny film, and obviously pleased to have it. Next up we have, probably, I wouldn't say one of my favourite disaster films, but it is definitely up there in my top 10. Roland Emmerich's 2012 with John Cusack and Oliver Platt. It does have quite a good cast in this, but suffers from the predictability of avoiding too many close calls. So yeah, 2012, very enjoyable film. Next up we have 28 Days Later, which is probably was my real introduction to zombie films. As much as I wasn't keen on them at the time, I did actually quite enjoy this. But it took a few more years, and another film that I'm going to get to later on in this series to really, for the genre to really catch my attention. So 28 Days Later is kind of a film that I can go back to every now and again. Next we have 12 Angry Men. We A very good film. Very similar, well, saying very similar to, on a similar sort of par as The Hateful Eight from Quentin Tarantino, but this is a courtroom drama about the guys on here are jurors to a court case where a young man is being judged for a crime that he's committed, and these guys here are trying to decide whether or not he should go to prison or not. Very good film, very entertaining, very good performances in this, and is actually very much worth the watch. And next we have a really good film in 21 Bridges with the late great Chadwick Boseman. A very, very sad loss, to say the least. This is probably one of this is a very good film, actually. I was actually quite surprised how good this film was. So pleased to have this one also. And that finishes my numerical numbered films. So let's move on to our A's. Got a reasonable pile here. So first off, we have the brilliant film starring Leonardo DiCaprio in The Aviator from Martin Scorsese. Now this documents the billionaire Howard Hughes, who I don't think he's no longer with us anymore, but he was the founder of, I think it was it TWA? I think it was TWA Airlines back in the day for America. Um, uh, a really good biopic. Also stars Kate Blanchett and Kate Beckinsale. Really worth a watch if you haven't seen it. It is a long film. It's quite long-winded, but it is moderately entertaining. Um, kind of surprised that Leo didn't really win anything for this. And to be really honest, Leo himself, for me, is probably one of the best actors out there. But it took me a good few films for me to get into his sort of acting gig, his actual style of acting. But yeah, I really enjoy this film. I've watched it a couple of times since I bought it, about maybe 3 or 4 years ago. So yeah, really pleased to have this one. Next up, we have another. This next time we have an Oliver Stone film in Any Given Sunday, starring Jamie Foxx and Al Pacino, which also stars Cameron Diaz and oh gosh, Dennis Quaid. Dennis Quaid is there right on the credits. Yeah, this is an absolutely fantastic sports movie. Pretty much you kind of get the impression that it's more about Jamie Foxx's character here, but really it's about American football as a sport in general and what goes on behind the scenes. This is such a great movie. It's so worth watching, and which is why it gets my spot in my collection. Next up, we have a film that kind of splits opinion. I actually really enjoy this film. It's also based on a true story. It stars Christian Bale, Amy Adams, Jennifer Lawrence, and Bradley Cooper, and Jeremy Renner, and that is American Hustle. Another very good film actually, and this is from the this is from David Russell, and it is a pretty good film. It tells the story of these people are actually con artists, but they get kind of caught out by the FBI, and they actually end up kind of working for them. So it's sort of the precursor to what Johnny Depp would do in Black Mass. They sort of do like they work on they work on yeah. Anyway, it's a really great film actually, guys. So I would I do actually quite recommend watching it if you get the chance to. Next up, we have quite a bit of quite an oddball movie starring James Caan and Terence Stamp. Um, Now, I remember seeing this once before and thinking this is not bad, and I wanted to go back to it to see if my opinions had changed. And to be honest, I've not really gotten back to it yet, and that is Alien Nation. So I might just do a quick review on this after I've watched it. So yeah, Alien Nation, guys. Now we have uh, now we have Air Force One with Harrison Ford and Gary. I was about to say Gary Oldman. There, he's not in this. David Suchet, or Poirot himself. Love this film. It is a bit tongue in cheek. It is a little bit tongue in cheek, but and but nonetheless, it's an entertaining film. Now we have a film based off one of Michael Crichton's novels, the great Michael Crichton, responsible for Jurassic Park, and we have The Andromeda Strain. A very interesting science fiction movie. There isn't an awful lot that happens in this, but this is more. This is kind of like a more of a drama film based on what would happen if an outbreak of an alien virus got to spread on a global scale. Really good, really good film. It did get a remake in the early noughties, which wasn't as good, but this is really worth watching. Next we have American Psycho with Christian Bale, one of my favourite Christian Bale films, to be honest. Absolutely love this film. It pretty much speaks for itself. Played off as more of a comedy than it is a horror. Really entertaining film. Really entertaining film, and goes very and not quite like its book. It kind of gets into the head of Patrick Bateman as a character. Let's say really great to watch. Really great to watch. So that is American Psycho. Next we have Attack the Block with John Boyega and the female doctor. Oh, what's her name? Oh gosh. Jodie Whittaker. Really great. I love this film. This is probably one of my favorite alien invasion films, to be honest. It's just basically about like space aliens. It's basically about aliens that try to take over a residential tower block in the middle of London, basically, and it's up to these guys to stop them from getting elsewhere. Really good film, really enjoyable. And another really enjoyable film from James Cameron as a producer, Robert Rodriguez as if I remember as director. Alita Battle Angel, the underdog film that came out alongside Captain Marvel. I thought this was brilliant, and it so needs its sequel, given the fact of how it really ended. So I'm looking forward to see if they do actually follow up on this. There has been talks on it for a couple of years since its release. So yeah, I'm pleased to have that. Based off an anime TV show from Japan. Next we have Argo with Ben Affleck. Very good film. Really enjoy this one. Next we have Arrival with Amy Adams and Jeremy Renner. Another very good alien sci-fi movie. Next we have James Cameron's Avatar. This film for me is okay. I didn't really get the hype that came around it when that it got when it first came out. I wasn't I wasn't really overwhelmed with it. To be honest, I found it somewhat cliche to James Cameron's formula of his films since since I'm trying to think of the film. Oh, it's not going to come to me, but it it's a it's a typical James Cameron formulaic film. This one, even though it was groundbreaking, even though it was very much groundbreaking with its with its visual technology, um, it does it did do the world a good. It did do the world a good for cinema, but unfortunately, I just think it's an okay film. It's not. It didn't wow me that much, and and I wasn't really that interested in its sequel, and I probably never will be either, to be honest. Next up, we have. I'll just quickly take this sticker off. Um, one second, guys. There might be a few of these that might still have stickers on. Um, there we go, I'll just take that one off for now. And we have Alice Sweet Alice from 88 Films. I've not seen this one, so I can't really say an awful lot about it, but yeah, that one's in my collection. Next up, we have a Michael Bay movie in Armageddon with the star-studded cast of Bruce Willis, Liv Tyler, Ben Affleck, Billy Bob Thornton, Owen Wilson, Steve Buscemi, Michael Clark Duncan, Keith David. Yeah, love it or hate it. I like it. I like it. You cannot go wrong with a bit of aim again. Next up, we have a fantastic film in American History X starring Ed Norton and Eddie Furlong. Um, this film I can go back to numerous occasions. I think this is such a good movie. I absolutely love it. Basically, it's about Ed Norton, who is who plays a bit of a badass in the film, and he commits a crime that makes him end up getting put behind bars, and learns a few lessons or two as a result of it, and comes back a reformed man against against his following on the streets. Very good film. Really really great film. So worth watching. Next up, we have Alien vs Predator. Now I have already spoken about this in one of my very early videos against its sequel. I think it was its sequel anyway. I'm pretty sure it was. I don't mind this. I don't mind this film. I mean, it's not canon to the two franchises. It's completely separate. It's based off its comics, and it really should it's it's good to say that it should stay like that really. But I like this film. It does have its problems, but hey, it's fun. It's a fun film. It's just one to enjoy with some popcorn. And last, we have an all time classic from Francis Ford Coppola, Apocalypse Now. Well, there's two versions in this. There's the redo, and obviously this is the original theatrical theatrical edition. I've watched this a good few times, and it still entertains me nonetheless. Very good film. Very and also very pleased to have it. It's a very entertaining yet very disturbing film at the same time. The way that it goes throughout the film, it gets darker and darker and darker the more it goes on, and by the time it gets to at the last sort of half an hour where you start including Marlon Brando, um, it 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 is you know it is the masterpiece that it deserves to be. So really enjoyed and very pleased to have this one in the collection. And that's it for the video, guys. That is what I have got for you today. Thank you very much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. If you've liked what you're saying and you want to and you want to talk about them, give it a like, or give me your comments down in the comment section below. Anything will be, what's saying anything, anything or nothing will be even be great. You don't have to comment, you don't have to do anything. You do anything you want. Do anything you want, guys. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. Really do appreciate it. And as always, I will, well, as always, maybe somewhat next time, whatever. I will see you next time. Cheers, guys, and I'll see you.